Hey, it's Tsushiyama, and I'm actually doing something again for once. This is the first 5 matches from the Pokemon Global Link 2013 Winter Friendly Tournament. So yeah, this is gonna try to upload 5 battles at a time, see how that works, because none of them are very long. A couple of them are like 24 turns, but most of them are rather short. So, starting off the first battle, yeah, I didn't do too well here. I have no idea who this guy is. I think he might be some YouTube battling guy, not sure, but yeah, I mean, this is the first matchup I did, and I just happened to get the guy who had 3 Ubers and an OU on his team, including a Kyogre. So, I go for the Grass Knot, which, surprisingly, I outspeed the Kyogre, and thanks to min-max damage, it doesn't kill it off. And I lose Espeon to Surf. Also, because this is the first match, I didn't go with something that you're going to see a lot more often in the future, is putting the defensive Pokemon on the front lines right away, rather than having 3 offensive Pokemon going out right away. Then I try to Bullet Punch whatever he goes to, and it doesn't work too well. I do about half on the Jirachi, but that's because I get a critical. Jirachi Calm Minds up, and I decide to... I'm not sure what I was trying to do, what I did again, but the Jirachi does have lefties. But I go to my Staraptor, and I believe I U-turn, or I Brave Bird. But he gets his Reflect up, which means that Brave Bird, it puts him back into the yellow, but other than that, it doesn't do much. So, he's got Reflect up. I go to Bronzong, I believe, to set up my own screens, but gets the Thunder, which, because it's Jirachi, which is a critical, and then it gets the Paralysis because it's a Jirachi, which has, I believe, Serene Grace, and then I get the Paralysis and can't move. Yeah, that was fun. That was a really fun turn there. I go back to Scizor to just get some damage in, Bullet Punching. And it takes him back to yellow again, but because of Reflect, it's not going to do too much. Thunder takes me down to below half and get the Paralysis because Serene Grace. This Scizor does not really care about Paralysis because it's usually either going to be slower than everything anyway, or be using Bullet Punch to be faster than everything. Again, Bullet Punch doesn't do much, and the second Thunder will take him out. And it's a rather pointless critical. I have to wonder if this Jirachi had a scope line. No, right, it has leftovers. But it still seems kind of annoying to be seeing 2 criticals in one match from the same Pokemon. And Staraptor's already been demonstrated as being slower than this Jirachi, and falls to Thunder. And Bronzong's going to die on the next turn. I lose 4-0, or I lose 0-4, and it was a great way to start this tournament out. Really great. Losing really hard. I believe I was going to try to Gyro Ball here, but he gets his Mewtwo and Psycho Breaks. Ugh. Yeah, Kyogre is going to be one of the things that plagues me further on into this tournament, and it's going to be really annoying. So, I lose. Yeah. I never got to see that white Kyurem ever, because I lost 0-4. But next battle's coming up. This one went quite a bit better for me. This person brought some sort of weird OU something. I'm not sure. But once again, I lead with 3 offensive Pokemon instead of 2 offensive and the defensive. You're not going to see the 3 offensive too much in the future, though. He goes Infernape, Unfezant, Electivire, and I just Psyshock, takes the Unfezant down to... almost kills it, lets it get off a Aerial Ace. And something else that happened in this tournament is that my Espeon proved to be a lot bulkier than I thought it would be. Living hits that I thought should. Generic Gengar cleaning up the mess with the Thunderbolt. Just slightly risky because of the Electivire, but I really wasn't expecting it to switch in. Now, this turn was interesting. I go for the Stab Shadow Ball, whatever he does, and it takes Torterra down to about 75%, or down by about 75%. He needs Earthquakes on the Gengar. I'm not sure why, but it misses because of Levitate. Then Shadow Ball again. It takes Electivire down to about half, he gets the Thunder off, and doesn't knock Gengar out, but it paralyzes it, and I don't use Gengar at all for the rest of this match. The rest of the match is just basically, I use Psyshock 3 times to win. So, while we're waiting for Psyshock 3 times to win, leave in the comments if you want me to keep doing these videos as 5 battles per video, or if you'd like me to split them up into maybe fewer videos per video, maybe more videos per video. And there is a 24 turn batch coming up soon, eventually, but most of these are only, I believe, they average about 11-12 turns, or some of them being 6 turns, some of them being 17. But yeah, that critical didn't matter. I'm fairly certain. I don't think it would have lived the Psyshock if I had gotten critical. Espeon almost knocked itself out with Life Orb pretty well, though. But I win that one 4-0, which was really not satisfying because it wasn't really a challenge. And this is battle number 3. And during that extremely brief glimpse of what I'm up against, saw a Thundurus, a Tornadus, a Terrakion, and a Togekiss. No, I just realized all of this player's Pokemon's names begin with T in English. But yeah, Tornadus sets up Tailwind. I go for the Psyshock on the reason that it's going to hurt whatever this person stays with, and it almost takes Tornadus out, almost. It's got Citrus Berry, and I forget about the Tailwind, and Espeon faints because of a Cross Scissor from a Life Orb Terrakion. So for some reason I wasn't leading with Scizor, so yeah. And I believe I switched to Melodic to try and Toxic whatever he was going to switch to, but instead he gets a critical Thunderbolt off his Thundurus and faints Melodic right away. And this same one-hit Melodic thing happens in a few other battle networks. And then there's the battles where Melodic just wins everything. So I switched to Staraptor. He misses the Rock Slide, thankfully, and I decided that U-turn was a good idea for some reason. I think that was a misclick, but Tailwind petered out, so I tried to Bullet Punch Tornadus, knock it out, but because it's got Prankster and it's faster than Scizor, get the Tailwind off anyway, but I still fainted. That's the important thing. So she's ahead, 3-2, goes to Togekiss. I switch to Staraptor, and because of Tailwind it's faster, get the Heat Wave off, trying to take advantage of the 4 times weakness that Scizor has. Instead, burns Staraptor and makes this return almost pointless. it does a decent amount for, you know, half the attack point power, but it basically makes Star Raptor useless for this next turn where Heatwave faints it. I probably could have ended this as in a 0-2 loss if I hadn't gotten the burn, but oh well. Bullet Punch almost takes out the Togekiss from this range. Takes it down to red line, and four times effective Heat Wave, Scizor out. Yeah. So I'm currently at 2 losses. So at this point in the tournament, I'm at 2 losses, 1 win. But I'm not too disheartened because, I mean, even though that was technically an OU team, I believe, it was still legendaries, and I don't like fighting with legendaries. So I'm kind of relieved when I face this person. So, another female trainer, and this is, I believe, the first actual appearance of Espeon Scizor defensive Pokemon that will be seen in nearly every other battle. And the only other times it won't be used is if I'm afraid that they've got too much Fire type or too much Steel resistance to bother. So, I'm expecting a Fake Out off of this Leopard. But instead it goes for the Night Slash, taking to get super effective damage on Espeon, and gets critical on Bronzong. That does a good amount, but I'm still in the green. So I set up the Reflect, goes for the Night Slash again, and I get second screen up, so I've got dual screen support going on. And then I switch to Scizor to Bullet Punch the Leopard, but she goes to Lucario to Aura Sphere for whatever reason. But Bullet Punch does about a third of its HP, and not very effective. And Aura Sphere does a decent amount in spite of the screen. We go back to Bronzong, and this is the third attack Bronzong taken. It's Nice Punch, and it's another critical. Bronzong has taken 2 critical hits so far, out of 3 attacks. Earthquake would have hit Lucario, but it didn't. So then, I go to Espeon's Grass Knot the Beartic, but it hits Lucario instead, and for some reason, this trainer has Copycat. So, she has her Lucario copy Grass Knot, and there was much accomplished on both sides. And for some reason, I thought she wouldn't go to the Leopard if I used Psyshock. I stayed on Espeon, but because the Psyshock doesn't work, her Leopard takes no damage, and Espeon barely lives the payback. So then, go to Scizor to Bullet Punch, one-hit knockout Leopard, see what her 4th Pokemon was. Turns out to be an Fezon. That name does not roll off the tongue. Go for another Bullet Punch, which takes it down to about 25%, and for some reason, her Pokemon has Fly, and the Reflect wears off. So, I go to Bronzong to try to set Reflect back up, but once again, 4th attack gets taken, 3rd critical hit. Bronzong faints because, yeah, and then Light Screen wears off. But seriously, 3 critical hits out of 4 attacks made on that Pokemon. That's just ridiculous. Star Raptor gets the Intimidate off on a Fezant. I go back to Scizor to Bullet Punch it. She goes to her Beartic, probably to exploit the ice weakness of Star Raptor. But Bullet Punch, super effective. Takes it out. And once again, this is a case of Bullet Punch to the rescue. Take out the Fezant, Bullet Punch. And then on the last turn I decide to do something a little bit more interesting than Bullet Punch, and go to Star Raptor to Brave Bird to finish off this game. Ugh. This was a 3-0 win, but it felt a bit more strategic than the previous 4-0 win I had. it felt less pathetic, I guess the word would be. So, coming up next, last battle against a bunch of beefy things. Also, this trainer did not really do too well. As you'll see, it's all flash and no substance with this guy. Espeon Scissor Melodic is going to be something you're going to see a lot in future Pokemon Global Link 2013 Global Winter-friendly tournament videos. Seriously, everything on this guy's team is shiny. We go for the Grass Knot, expecting him to switch to Rhyperior, or no, not to Rhyperior, to Electivire or something. But 4 times super effective, Oko through Rhyperior. This guy sends out Shiny Ampharos, and I switch to Melodic to Surf. I'm not entirely sure why, but it takes Ampharos down to about half, well not about half, about 60%. I take the Signal Beam that probably would have painted Espeon pretty well. I go for the Toxic, trying to get some incidental damage on it. This guy goes for Thunder, it hits. I don't remember if this was critical or not. I don't think it was critical, but it deals a good bit of damage to Melodic, which tends to be decently special defensive. This one's meant to be more of an equal opportunity defender. So from that range, I can take it out with a Side Shock, or severely hurt whatever this guy switches to. So this guy goes to Aggron. I Grass Knot again, and once again it works. One hit knocks out the Aggron. This guy's left with one Pokemon, Electivire. So we go to Scizor, and this is what I was talking about with Scizor being slower than everything unless use Bullet Punch. Go for the U-turn, and I believe I get a critical. No, I don't get a critical. It just faints it right away.